I gotta say, furthermore, for the record, just let me put it to you like this. Um, you got our folks doing this cultural baggage thing I was talking about previously, where you have the artificial barriers created along the lines of clans and tribes and quote-unquote religion. And as I said, those days are coming to a close. That ludicrous behavior is coming to a close. There are those who have been coming to me recently because they've been seeing all this stuff about these folks who allow themselves to be labeled with the pejorative quote-unquote Arab, whatever that is. Our children called the quote-unquote Arab. Well, you gotta remember, there are those who do the cultural baggage thing with them, like anyone else, and those that do the religious baggage thing, like everybody else does, or other parties do on this particular planet. I won't say everybody, that's not being fair, it's a broad stroke. Alright, bottom line here is this though. Those days are coming to a close sooner rather than later because they have to. And in our lifetime, you're going to begin to see wholesale changes. And here's the reason as to why. Sooner or later, folks get tired of the crap and they begin to do their own independent research. And when they do, they come to find out things that they thought were real are not. They were fed a bunch of misperceptions. Now, you gotta remember, there are particular parties who purport themselves to be so-called Arab that are that stand as much to lose by your return to power on this planet as anyone else, because they're sitting on all these particular lands that have this commodity called oil. And you coming back to power is a huge threat to them by default. That's not what's being said, but at the end of the day, that's what's being said. As I said before, a lot of this stuff comes back to skirmishes over socioeconomic issues, including the enslavement of folks of our hue by folks of our hue who purport themselves to be so-called Arab, whatever that is. And there were those supposed to issue of when the Moors began to convert to Mohammedanism wholesale. Uh, some because they were looking to say, well, I'm a Muslim like you, so you can't enslave me, and they were enslaved anyway. Again, it had nothing to do with the quote-unquote religion. It had nothing to do with anything other than the socioeconomic aspect that's involved here. As usual, it all comes down to money and power. That's all it is. And money and power run opposite of the five basic principles when you do not use the five basic principles in how you acquire and how you maintain your money. It's common sense approach to looking how things really and truly are that has been obfuscated by those who have a vested interest in keeping it obfuscated. Good, bad, or indifferent, that's just the way things are for the time being. And I tell folks, look, if you like to be caught up in that, that's your business. But what you need to be looking at is what I keep telling you. And that's the five basic principles as you look into your own institutions on your own terms. Again, food, clothing, and shelter, system of health, system of learning, that's your fundamental basics. And everything beyond that is predicated upon those elements. And if you do those elements right, now you're in a position to do something about the other things that are part of your socioeconomic fabric for your infrastructure. And it's a matter of making sure you don't put the cart before the horse, as they say. And it's a matter of making sure that your processes, your protocols, and your procedures are prudent, smart, wise, effective, and most importantly of all, efficiently being proficient. So all that other stuff, I'm not doing that. And getting into all the revolutionary aspects of things, I don't need to do all that. Because at the end of the day, the end result of what revolutionary thinking is taking care of food, clothing, and shelter for your folks. It's not about acquiring power for the sake of power. What does that get you? So you have power, but it's not controlled power. It's not focused power. So now what? What did you solve? You probably create more problems than you can solve that way. What you need to look at is, again, a practical approach. And that's the only way that we proceed on my watch. And I tell you, brothers and sisters, on a regular basis, y'all can, you can put the cart before the horse doing the the individual more thing on your like. I love when folks talk about they do their own thing. Alright, so you do your own thing. And when someone knocks you on your head, who's there for you? That knows what you know, that thinks, act, and speak as you do, from a unified collective with an organized structure. Oh, you want to be independent by yourself and do your own thing? That's cool. Alright, so when you have massive snow all around your right of way, I'm talking about a foot of snow. So what are you going to do? Get out there with your snow blower and your shovel, and you're going to cut your path of right-of-ways and byways from your doorstep to wherever you go for trade? And you're going to do this every time it snows? And you're going to put the salt down too? And you're talking about covering a course of miles? Or are you going to have an organized structure to do that? I love when these folks do this stuff, talk about, yeah, well, I'm doing my own thing, I'm an independent. Well, you might be independent, and that's all well and good. But let's see how well you do on your own. You need a collective. So for those who don't think beyond 20 minutes, I'm telling you, you better learn to think beyond 20 minutes, because that stuff, talk like that, it shows how stupid you really and truly are. It shows how selfish you really and truly are. Take it or leave it. Just remember you heard it, because truth is truth. It needs no crutch and it needs no apology.